Hey, it's the amazing Great Grottu Orloff television program, and it's episode 360. Incredible that we've made it this far. We started in the summer of 2019, and it's almost summer 2021, so we're coming up on our second anniversary here on the Grottu Orloff Inspirational Network. And um, so we're having a great time here. Um, and all of this wouldn't be possible without our sponsor, Bubble Up. You can buy it by the half quart. Bubble Up is pure pleasure. And Bubble Up is wholesome refreshment for all ages. It contains carbonated water, sugar, not high fructose corn syrup, sugar, citric acid, sodium citrate, flavor derived from lemon and lime oils, contents 1 full pint, 16 fluid ounces, good for young and old. So let's see. Open this up. God damn it. A collapse. That's always never good. Well, so we lost a couple of subscribers. We went up to 227 and went down to 225, and someone even gave me a thumbs down on my birthday show a few days ago. But never fear, I put out a rally call on Facebook and Instagram this morning and said, hey, if you're not subscribed to the Grottu Orloff show, then subscribe. And we got 3 subscribers just in the last hour or so. So make sure you're drinking Bubble Up. And because it's delicious. Alright, so when we last left off, we were looking at some copies of Monsters Unleashed, the Marvel horror comic magazine from the early 70s. Well, it's a beautiful Saturday spring afternoon. Yesterday we were supposed to get a horrible storm, but we missed out on the baseball-sized hail that went east of us and all the tornadoes and that kind of stuff. And we're up here watching the mighty Thor on the big screen in the movie theater. Oh, I got this shirt from, look at this. This is a birthday gift from my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law. They also sent me a Universal Monsters shirt. The Mighty World of Marvel, I think that was, if I'm not mistaken, that's taken from an album cover by a band called Icarus. Could be wrong, but there's a band that put out a whole album of songs about Marvel superheroes, early 70s. I think it's probably called prog rock or something like that. It's you can hear it all on YouTube. I think it's called Icarus. I could be completely wrong, because Bubble Up does that to you. It doesn't mention some of the stuff in here. They don't mention is that it has a lot of alcohol in it too. Hey, look at this. To Ken, best wishes, Betty Page. Now, that's a real autograph. I had to make a copy because the photograph started to fade. Like it wasn't in the fixing solution long enough. But so I made a quick copy of it that I could hang up. But I have this in the other room, safe in a dark environment. So, if all else fails, I could always cut that part out and crop it, mount it with an actual picture of Betty Page. But anyway, I got several pictures from the mid-90s after she'd been rediscovered. I didn't get them personally, but I got them through someone that interacted with her. Oh, our other sponsor is, of course, Fang, breakfast drink for vampires. Yeah. And if you open up Fang, it looks a lot like that. Indeed. Monsters Unleashed. I can't hear Thor. I have more Monsters Unleashed in the other room. This is not my complete set of Monsters Unleashed. It doesn't have the... Yeah, there's a bunch of missing here. Anyway, these are the ones that are here. The camera just shut off magically in the middle of the last video. That's no good. Yeah, see this ad here? That's an ad for the next issue, number 2. That's the one that my mom actually let me buy. See, my mom didn't let me buy monster magazines unless I brought them up to her in the bookstore and said, "Mom, can I buy this?" And she would flip through it and look to see if there's anything offensive. Always like that. See, this has some old 50s reprints in it. And she'd check to see if there's not, someone getting their guts ripped out or something, And usually she'd say no, but she said, oh, okay for that Monsters Unleashed number 2. But I never... Yeah, a lot of times, famous monsters and stuff, there was just no chance she'd let me buy it. Look, the script is by Gardner Fox and Roy Thomas, with art by Gene Colan. Yeah, man. Look at this stuff. Yeah, she, when I plan to retire before 50. Boy, retirement is really a trip, because you have these dreams, like you feel like, I need to be there, Well, it depends on what your job is. But I had a job where I was helping people new to the English language learn the language, learn to speak and write and talk well in English. And there were at least in the last few years, I had wonderful students that are just new arrivals to the country, and I was really... That's too loud. That means I've got to walk 6 feet over there and turn that down, which doesn't seem like that much, but there's a lot of stuff between here and there, because I'm tearing this room apart in order to build it back better. Oh, how much longer? Before the country becomes a republic again. Turn this down a little bit. Yes. Well, at least we've gotten a taste of what it's like to live. And I guess it's kind of a good thing to have a, it's like we've been living the plot of one of those movies, like It's a Wonderful Life or various Twilight Zone episodes, where you get a taste of what you think you wanted. And then you realize, hey, your life was pretty good as it was. And, you're getting a taste of what it's like to have communists that are in debt to foreign powers in charge. And look how great it is. But maybe maybe we'll build back better to a better republic. Or they like to say democracy, but it's a republic. All right, here's we won't get political here on the Donald Trump network. I mean the Grottu Orloff channel. Monsters Unleashed. Yes, the man thing walks among us. That's who I wish was president. He could get up the stairs. Yeah. But we got these satanic Luciferian Democrats in charge. And I didn't really realize how I've really been indoctrinated. They've been trying to indoctrinate me in this stuff my whole life. Even my beloved old comic books were trying to indoctrinate. Maybe that's why my mother was so nervous about letting me buy these monster magazines. Because, oh well. Yeah. Yep. Wonderful stuff. Monsters Unleashed. I don't think there's much of a collector's market for it. Here's some of the monster magazines that were available. I'm sorry, Crazy was a humor magazine. Yeah, I've got all of those. Yeah, my mother was very, she said, well, forget what age, she said, at a certain age, you can buy all these monster magazines without checking with me first, but for right now, you gotta get permission before you buy any. And, I don't remember if it was age 10 or what, something like that. Maybe it was 10. It couldn't have been 12, it had to be 10. When you're 10, you can buy the monster magazines. Yeah. She also didn't like me reading Dennis the Menace, but I bought it anyway, but she thought he spoke with bad grammar and that I would pick that up. And also, of course, Three Stooges. She didn't like that, me watching that, because she thought I'd imitate them, and all that. And some kids do. I don't think I would. Remember, I'm sorry, Bubble Up, delicious drink. Bubble Up. And then the most horrible thing is she wouldn't let me buy used books or magazines or comic books, which if I could have done it when I was first getting into Marvel and all that stuff, I could have been buying like Silver Surfer #1 for $1.50 and probably the Galactus trilogy for $5 a pop, but she was afraid of used books, that they might bring bugs into the house. Book lice, she called them. Yeah, that was, of course, then in 77, I guess I was 12, and then there was a comic book store opened. My first Lone Star Comics opened in the summer of 77. I was buying all the, forget that. But in early elementary school, that's when I wish I could have been buying that stuff. Yeah, I think all of that is part of being a child during the Depression, and just the idea of having used anything. It just was, disreputable to be buying used things. So instead of buying used Spider-Man or Fantastic Four comics, I would buy Marvel Tales and Marvel's Greatest Comics, and then I'd get my fix of Silver Age stuff. But that stuff was edited. They'd cut a few pages out of each issue, stuff that they thought they could get away with cutting without taking away too much from the plot. And so they could fit in more ads, just like they do with old television shows. They either cut parts of them out or they speed them up so they can put in more commercials. This is, I think, where we were when I ended the last episode, or the Apple iPhone ran out of memory, so I would blame Apple for that. Monsters Unleashed. Imagine if there were magazines like this on the newsstand now. There aren't even magazines on the newsstand now. I saw a new issue of Mad came out last week. And of course, Mad is now all reprints, pretty much. But the cover is made to look kind of old-fashioned. The logo is somewhat reminiscent of Kurtzman's original logo for the Mad comic book. But just one of those things. Magazines are dying because of the internet. But you know, comic book stores seem to be doing well, although I don't know if people are really reading comics or just sending them off to be slabbed. I'm not a fan of variant covers. I've told you that before. And the other thing is, I don't know if this happened at all throughout the country. There was a phenomenon you may not be aware of, but since I was working in a comic store on Wednesday, I saw it happening. First of all, comic books are meant for kids. Originally, from the mid-30s, famous funnies starting. GIs read them in World War II, and there were some, adults that read them in the early 50s, and the crime, horror, science fiction, I know. Bubble up, ladies and gentlemen. But they're stuff, they're kids stuff. And now, kids may watch the movies or play the video games, but the kids don't read the comics. Some don't even know they exist. And they just don't. And that's why I was wondering about my YouTube statistics, my stats. I looked at them. I showed my wife. Most of my subscribers are in the age group 50. Boy, that's annoying. 55 through 65, somewhere in there. There's a few in their mid-30s that watch the Grottu Orlov channel, but then throughout most of your 40s, you don't watch the Grottu Orlov channel, and people below 30 don't watch this channel at all. And then there used to be like one or two people in there over 66 that watch this channel, but now it doesn't show anyone. But anyway, that's at least what YouTube's telling me. And that 60-something% of the people that watch this channel also subscribe. I get that out of it. But, okay, so my point is what? Oh. Well, I thought, well, I'm just not talking about the type comics that appeal to people in their 20s. But in honesty, people in their 20s aren't I don't think they're reading comics. I think the average person that reads comics is like older, in their 30s or up. I think. There might be a few people in their 20s, but mostly they're into Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And card games, and then I think some of the younger people into comics just are into it as a game, like slabbing them, and it's like a sport to hang up trophies, like you shoot a deer and hang its head up on your wall. You get a key issue and you put it up on your wall, but you never read it. You never even see the inside of it. Isn't that great? Spider-Man will spit on you with this squirt gun. Anyway, what you may not have been aware of is that all day Wednesday, kids that don't normally go into comic stores with their parents streamed into comic stores. There were women waiting outside, at least the comic store in Grand Prairie, Cosmic Comics, an hour before it opened. The parking lot was full an hour before it opened. People waiting at the door. Kids coming in asking for one particular comic. And by an hour into the day, that comic was no longer in stock because no one had any idea this would be such a popular comic, and it wasn't ordered enough, and it was already going up on eBay to high amounts. And I'd hear kids come in talking to the dad, I don't think they'll have it. Probably they're not going to have it, Dad. And Dad says, what do you mean? It just came out. Of course they're going to have it. It just came out today or yesterday, right? They'll have it in stock. And no, they didn't have it. And what is that comic? It's Batman meets Fortnite. And Fortnite is a huge phenomenon, or at least it was a few years ago. Some kids have gotten, it's too cool for it now, and now it's like my nephew is like, I used to like Fortnite, but now I'm into, what is that thing called? Where you build with, it looks like an old-timey video game. Mecha Blocks or something, I don't know, can't remember its name. You build Minecraft. Minecraft is the one. But anyway, there's still a lot of kids into Fortnite. And so what DC's done is they've combined Fortnite with Batman, and they brought all these kids in, but then you didn't print enough, or stores didn't know to order enough, and what could have been a great way to get kids in the door to the comic store, where maybe they'll get interested in Batman and other titles that don't have Fortnite in it. Oh, I think you get several copies of the same comic or something. You get codes from each one of the comics, and then it unlocks some new game. It's some weird marketing strategy. But if the comics aren't there, then the news people walked out empty-handed and said, well, we'll take your number and everything. But the thing about those comics, but if you get them in and they become interested in those other comics, and then they actually read them, it's just these comics aren't meant for kids. The last Batman comic I got, because everyone was talking how great it was, and I finally just bit the bullet and bought it, was this Batman 3 Jokers. And I haven't read it yet. I mean, the artwork looked good, and everyone was raving about it. So I finally got it. But even though I flipped through it, and I saw way too many naked male asses in the book, and I don't really buy comics for that. I mean, a lot of male nudity, particularly their butts, and blood, and this whole sadism shit in Batman comics that started with all this Killing Joke stuff, and Catwoman being a prostitute thanks to Frank Miller, and they kept that in the canon, and this is now officially the way the stories are, when that was never really, that was meant to be just an imaginary, what if story. I don't know. I wish comics were still sold at 7-Eleven, and I wish kids still bought them, and I wish the adults still read them, even though they're really meant for kids. But now they're really meant for adults, and I don't even think adults in a lot of cases are reading them. They're buying them because, oh, it's got a cool Alex Ross cover, and I get it because it looks so cool. Look good on my wall. And then you flip through. I don't know. This looks kind of either twisted or written by some social justice warrior that's trying to further some political point of view. You know, Iron Man, you really are exhibiting a toxic amount of masculinity, and you have a lot of privilege, Mr. Stark. You know that? Says some female superhero to him as he's in a hospital bed. That kind of thing. You know, blue-haired women writing the Tales of the Zombie. You never had to worry about political correctness in the pages of Tales of the Zombie. There's probably just too much noise here. I mean, fucking shit. There's too much noise, too much noise tearing up my nerves, motherfuckers. Here's another issue of Tales of the Zombie, but I have tons more Tales of the Zombie in the other room. So don't think these are my only Tales of the Zombie. The dog is barking downstairs. Probably some horrible Democrat outside. The covers of Tales of the Zombie. Just imagine a comic like this once existed. It's so wonderful and bittersweet to think that they once existed but no longer do. So here in the Grottu International Building of Trade, we shut out present day and live in the past. I said I promised those new subscribers I'd mention them today. Mark Mahy, I hope I'm pronouncing these names right, and Joseph Sweden. I'm not sure if you're a new subscriber. You left a comment about, I think he said, your show appears to be that you are living in a warehouse filled with weird objects, and you are trying to figure out what they are, or perhaps escape from life, or something like that. It was some psychoanalysis. I wasn't sure if it was meant to be a compliment or not. But when you put that I live in a warehouse full of junk, that's what my wife always says. So that's not going to help me too much with that. She always says it's like I'm living in a storage unit. Damn it! But if we move into a much bigger house, then it won't be as bad, honey. Will Carroll also commented, but you said you'd already subscribed, and as had Timothy A. Bukowski, and Stephen Ayotte wants to see, I hope I'm pronouncing the names right, you want to see more Planet of the Apes stuff. And that's all around. There's some Planet of the Apes stuff over there. I'll have to zoom in on that here in a minute. I'm going to show you kind of, I'll show you more in a minute. What's happening with Thor? I'm listening to a Halloween record, a horror record, while watching Thor. I had to turn Thor's sound down because I thought it might get too confusing. Bubble Up, whatever the hell it's called. Alright. Tales of the Zombie. That's making me hungry. I had a chicken fried steak earlier, and then they gave me 2 baked potatoes instead of 1. Astonishing. Look at these masks you could have gotten back then. They don't look very good, some of them. They could have been photographed better, I think. Are you cursed to forever stock your local newsstand for your favorite Marvel magazines? Is that your curse?
The blood banshee is dead.
No. Tales of the Zombie was actually the zombie first appeared in one of the 50s Marvel horror comics. And so he was a character that had already existed for almost 20 years, but just in one single story, and then they revived him for this delightful series. Yeah, I've got to upgrade my Thor 1966 Marvel Superheroes Thor cartoons. I've got all the Thor cartoons on a single disc, so that kind of degrades the quality, but yeah, then there's Hulk, Submariner, Captain America, and Iron Man also. Here's Savage Tales number 7. I just got to get all these together in one box and put them all together, and someday that'll happen, maybe. I always like this ad, this Alfredo Alcala ad. All of the heroes of the black and white Marvel comics. Dracula, you've got, yeah, Morbius, Frankenstein, Satana. My goodness. Kazar never did this stuff in the 4-color comics. At least I don't remember him ever stabbing someone like that. But, you know, like the Warren magazines, the Marvel magazines were meant to be in the PG-13, almost R-rated kind of realm. They're never, they're meant to be more adult than the regular comics. So there'd be little bits of nudity and more blood. The Conan comics had a lot of blood, but they got away with it by not painting the blood red. It was black. So whenever someone was slashed by a sword or an axe, they bled black blood. Same thing with the DC Jonah Hex comic. The blood was always black. Mission D. Alright, 2 more magazines and we'll look at some other stuff. It will be amazing. I had these annuals around 1975, and that was about the last gasp. But as I recall, for these Marvel magazines, yeah, see, 1975. I remember they had these annuals, and then that was all she wrote. Here's an ad for Planet of the Apes model kits. Yeah, I had all of them. I have a few of them now. I've got General Ursus and Dr. Zaius, and they were reissued a few years ago. Oh, here's some Barry Smith art. Well, oh, I I guess they brought these magazines weren't dead then. They stuck around. What am I talking about? Because yeah, they had them still, especially Savage. Well, Savage Sword of Conan kept publishing, like forever and through the '80s. Because and then the movie, spurred that on. It just never seemed to end. But and then they would put out some other Marvel magazines. But the Monsters Unleashed and Dracula Lives, Vampire Tales of the Zombie, those all ended about 75, and Doc Savage. Here's a Savage Tales that's real 80s looking, you can tell. Yeah. East Coast Comics. It's always fun to look at old comic ads and see what comics cost back then. See a comic I care about. Fantastic Four 59 was $6. Wow, Wow. This has some John Severin art in it. Yeah, must have been why I picked this up. Here it is, the first issue ever of Savage Tales. Hope you like it. If you don't, Harry Hama. Okay, so this was meant to be. This was different from the Savage Tales from the early '70s that had Conan and Khazar. This is meant to be kind of a He-Man magazine with Vietnam stories and war stories, kind of like a Blazing Combat kind of thing. Oh, here's another magazine that was around. I forgot about Colin the Barbarians. These are fun things to read, and you can get them cheaply, because I don't think people collect them and slab them. Man, I was watching Charlton 66, and he was pointing out he went to some comic convention, and this one issue of the Comics Journal with a Will Eisner drawing of the Spirit kind of grabbing a guy from behind, choking him. That thing people are selling for ridiculous prices. Oh, I got a new subscriber. I couldn't read his name or her name, but I don't know if that was Instagram or YouTube. It just popped up at the top of my screen. Yeah, this Comics Journal is people are paying all these because there's a little drawing in it about this big of one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and some people are considering that the first appearance ever of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I happen to have that issue in the closet there, so it's like, wow. Okay, I have 2 copies of this issue of Marvel Preview presenting Satana. Now they're wanting to establish a new, their version of Vampirella. So they had Lilith coming out of the Dracula stories, and they had Satana, who is the sister of the son of Satan. So they're definitely hoping they'll have a new Vampirella, and they're hoping that they can bottle that lightning. But and it's a cool thing. It's just all this double stuff started to be real big in the late '60s with the hippies, and it was Rosemary's Baby, but I got 2 copies of it. When The Exorcist came out, the double stuff exploded, and of course Marvel rides whatever wave of anything that's popular. They're gonna be. This is a later period magazine. This is another issue of Marvel Preview. What do we got here? This looks like it looks like I wonder if this is reprints from the color comics. A lot of it looks. Oh, it's got one of those Lilith stories in it. A lot of it looks like Tomb of Dracula. Yeah, it says starring Hodiah Twist, Lilith, Queen of the Undead. Okay, here's a magazine that has an X-Men angle. Yeah, it's just X-Men done black and white style. It's not bad. Cover's really cool looking. It is Secret Lives of the X-Men. How about that?
Friends, they can't believe you're in love with me. They keep wondering why. And for those that don't understand,
And then here we've got another attempt to bring the color heroes in. You got Neil Adams art here. Got Elektra. Interesting. Inhuman stuff. Oh, wow. I've been meaning to show these. Man, Beer Pig, I was wanting to show him some of these black and white Hulk comics from the late 70s. These are done to take place in, really the other room's better to show comics. They're supposed to take place in the early 60s. Artwork on this is pretty weird looking. But then, but yeah, it's a Hulk comic done black and white style. But then when the TV show came on, then they converted this into a color magazine. Let's see how it takes place in the early 60s world. Isn't that a great cover? It's got a Shanna the She-Devil backup story. I was wondering where these comics were. Now I need to combine them with that box in the other room. Oh, where's the Planet of the Apes? It's almost like this was planned. This should be with my other Planet of the Apes comics. Damn, it's fucking hot up here. Yeah, I was showing you a Power Records album a few weeks ago, and I said I think the artwork probably came from this magazine, I think maybe from this story. And I thought it was Mike Klug did the art. Is this, I'm not sure this is Mike Klug. Let's see. I don't think it is. This is, oh, it's Herb Trimp. Art, Herb, or is it Herb Trimpy? I don't know. Trimp. Dan Adkins and Sal Trapani. Okay. It kind of looks a little like Mike Klug in places. Oh, this is a shitty, like terrible, torn up copy of this. This is something I got at a later date, very cheaply. This is the Kiss, the legendary or infamous Kiss comic. When this first came out, I was not a big fan of Kiss. But later I realized that they were geniuses and then I started loving their music. But the big deal with this is that it's possible that within this red ink there might be a few molecules of their actual blood, because they took vials of their blood to the printing plant in New Jersey or somewhere and dumped them in a big, had the photographers snapping pictures. So when you got that, did they put it on the fucking cover? That was the big deal, is that you might have, it's printed in Kiss's blood. Yeah, printed in real Kiss blood, which is like a new low. I think that I'd heard, the last few years of Stan Lee's life, when they were really exploiting him and making him sign all these books, and they were saying it was elder abuse, and why are we allowing this? I heard that they had taken some of Stan Lee's blood and dumped it into the some Black Panther comic. I read it somewhere. I'm probably wrong, but that just shows that the whole P.T. Barnum of it. This is maybe this is the second issue of Kiss. It doesn't have a cover. Oh, it's got a poster in it. What is this poster? Wow. Look at this. This is the Kiss theme song that you're hearing. This is probably the music that Gene Simmons listens to in his house. I wouldn't be surprised at all. He's a comic book person. Yep. Kiss. Yeah, they're superheroes, see? I don't know where I got those. Here's this movie Meteor. I remember it coming out. It was not a big hit. I think Sean Connery was in it, yeah. It was like a real low-budget movie, and somehow they got Sean Connery to star in it, so people thought, oh, it must be a big movie, but no, it wasn't. I remember going to see that with my mom at the Forum 303 Mall. I don't remember hating it, but it was not a big event. Here's Star Trek, the motion picture. Yeah, how about that? They should never have changed the uniforms. They had to change the freaking uniforms. Every time there was a new TV show, they had to change the uniforms a little bit. Just keep them the way they were in the original show. Uniforms don't change that much in the military. Well, lately they have. Trump brought the military uniforms back to looking great. Almost like World War II looking. Because for years they were these drab, made to look like deserts. In other words, we're only going to be fighting in the deserts from now on, so we're going to wear this So, whatever. This is my Empire Strikes Back. This came out before the movie came out. Some kid got it and was like, in the damn, where was I? This came out in 1980. $79.80. Must have been a junior high. In the cafeteria, someone was like trying to shout out that, you know, Darth Vader was his father, you know. And I was trying not to listen because I wanted to be surprised. But yeah, this is I'm sure they printed 1 million of them, and then they printed 1 million of them again, and but it's Al Williamson art, so that's cool. You know, they realized that, you know, Al Williamson did Flash Gordon stuff for a lot of years, so they're realizing its roots, and then it was cool that they got Leigh Brackett to come in and write at least the initial script for the movie, because of her. She wrote that type of science fiction fantasy, that Edgar Rice Burroughs kind of stuff. And so which is what Star Wars is really, the world it's really based in. So, at least then, Lucas knew what he was doing. And then, there was, of course, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Look how they got away. They didn't want to put a swastika on the cover. I wonder if they did that inside too. I've got a really cool statue of the Red Skull, and on his armband they have that instead of the swastika. Just it looks like John Buscema art that's been very rushed. Am I correct? Where do they even put the artist in here? Maybe they don't. Here. No. The art in this looks very rushed. It does look like John Buscema art, but like he had to do it in a weekend. Here's a really beaten up copy of The Tomb of Dracula when they tried to do it as a magazine. Not its finest moment. October 79. Yeah, man. It would have been better if this painting was the full cover and you didn't have to look at Frank Langella or what's his face, George Hamilton. Someone thought that was real funny to cast George Hamilton as Dracula, this guy that's famous for his suntan, and that's about all he's famous for, is who he dated and having a suntan. All right. We looked at some magazines. Now let's look at some scraps of paper, because I've got to decide where to put things here. Here's Jack Kirby drawing the thing. Here's an ad for a spook show, Madhouse of Mystery. I've got another one of the Jack Kirby, so I'll put that over here. And then I'll use that to pad out some random act of kindness packages that I send out soon. Oh, look at this. Mr. Potato Head. Look, and there's a Mrs. Potato Head. Can you imagine how shocking that is? They gave them genders. Terrible. What are they thinking? An ad for Capitol, the Capitol Theater. Oh yes, I like, this is a wonderful picture to have framed in the kitchen. I always like this. Oh, that last video I watched of Charlton 66, he had gotten this great creature from the Black Lagoon, little figure in a the box that looked cool, and he's right. That I'm gonna get one of those if I can, and that's something I would actually leave in the box. I don't normally leave things in the box, but he's exactly right. The box is incredible. Oh yeah, this is. I've got tons of these. I've got one framed in the hall. To our pal of the Solar Scouts, Buck and Wilma. Okay, imagine an alternate world where after the Battlestar Galactica failed, Glenn Larson actually makes a Buck Rogers movie where they dress like this. Okay, you take it and you have them look like they did in the 1930s comic strip. You make the spaceships look like they did in the 30s. It would have, I think people would have responded to it. Now that's kind of sorta what they tried to do with the Flash Gordon feature film. But, and you could say, well, that wasn't a hit. I mean, ultimately it became something well loved, but, see, I got lots of them here. So yeah, maybe that isn't a good example because Flash Gordon kind of bombed it theatrically. It's only now that people love it. I don't know. But an alternate world where that happened, that series existed, would have been amazing. And you could have kept the theme song, because the theme song to Buck Rogers was pretty good, and the casting of Gil Gerard and Erin, whatever her name was, she was real good at. I mean, but get rid of that horrible penis-headed robot. I love Mel Blanc, but that robot was very annoying and stupid looking. Name him and win me. Yeah, that's for years I've used that model kit as my photo on MySpace and Facebook. I married a monster from outer space. 106.9, we put the FU in WFUN. The galaxy being from the outer limits. Oh, I gotta frame this, man. Look at this. Is this incredible, or is this wonderful, or is it fantastic? You tell me, is it incredible? Is it wonderful? Or is it just fantastic? Let's see what Thor is up to up here. See, the animation was real good in these cartoons. I'm not knocking them. The animation's perfectly okay, and the sound effects, the music, The acting, wonderful. Word for word, right out of the comics. Here's another Buck Rogers and Wilma. So see, that's what this fucking TV show should have looked like. Do that, it would have knocked people's socks off in the 70s. I love this picture of Anne Frank. That definitely would look good in an old-timey frame. But maybe if I printed it on a glossy piece of paper.
Newsweek says Christopher Reeve's entire performance is a delight.
And this would look better printed in color because this is a color photograph, but it's just a great picture of these guys playing pinball.
And Time magazine calls it a film that's fun for everyone. Superman, the movie, rated PG.
That Superman radio spot has scenes that were not included in the movie. Because Lois Lane never said that's the problem with a Man of Steel. They're never around when you want them or need them. That wasn't in the movie. I'm almost positive it wasn't. Oh, what wonderful memories. I gotta get this framed. Can you imagine having that framed? It's the little evil doll from Trilogy of Terror, which played, I don't know if that came on when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, but I remember the next day on the school ground, the next day, everyone was talking about that movie. Trilogy of Terror is 3 horror stories written by Richard Matheson. Not Robert Bloch, I think it was Richard Matheson. And they were, it was produced by Dan Curtis that did Dark Shadows. And so the first 2 stories, all 3 stories had Karen Black playing a different character, right? First 2 stories nobody remembers. The 3rd story with this little doll chases Karen Black around the apartment and she can't escape and it's stabbing her ankles. Oh, I've got another one. So maybe someone would like another a copy of that. It's anyone that is about my age, which is apparently all my viewers according to YouTube. Remember that. Put this on your wall and see who your real friends are. I got more than one. I should have one in every room. Another one. This is great. Flash Gordon and the Brain Machine, 1956. TV Days just apparently put up a Flash Gordon TV episode on YouTube, and it just popped up my notifications at the top of the screen. I filmed this with an iPhone, I guess you know that. The cool thing about that TV show, made in the 50s, is it's filmed in Germany, but it's in English. But the guy that plays Flash Gordon, Steve Holland, is the model that posed for all the paintings on the Doc Savage 1960s and 70s paperback covers. And then when they also did adaptation, when they reprinted the Avenger pulps in paperback form in the 70s, he posed as the Avenger. So if you ever look at the Avenger, he looks just like Doc Savage, but with different hair. Yeah, Steve Holland. But, you know, about 10 years before, he was Flash Gordon. So if you watch that Flash Gordon show, here's another one of this. So I'll put it over. If you watch that Flash Gordon show, it's like watching Doc Savage moving around. All right. Americana. That's the way America is supposed to be. I need to print this in color and frame this. Definitely. But I didn't have access to a color printer when I was going printing crazy here. Here's a girl reading Whiz comics. What else is she reading there? all your comics. And some chip hazard, something like that. So I can, perhaps I can magnify it for you. And maybe you can tell if you'll probably be able to spot what issue of Whiz Comics that is. Like Night Tiger has that issue of Whiz. For one of you that collects Golden Age, Captain Strangelove, this would be a cool photo to have framed. Someone actually reading it. I have one copy, but I could print another one. The great football match down in Casey's Alley. This is a great illustration of kids fighting. This is the world that Jack Kirby grew up in. You know, when he talks about the Yancey Street Gang and stuff, this is the kind of hoodlums in the immigrant neighborhoods of New York, that time period. Oh, here are terms for other words for an attractive girl. Slick chick, whistle bait, sharp, a rare dish, a solid cinder. Ooh, that's cool the way it lights up my mouth. Why is it doing that? That's weird, isn't it? Hold on. A solid cinder, a dilly, a dream puss, a Zaz girl, a ba, a destroyer, or a 2020. A not attractive boy would be a dog face, a void coupon, too safe, stupor man, or sad Sam. An attractive boy would be drooly, heaven sent, swoony, mellow man, hunk of heartbreak, glad lad, or a Jackson. A not attractive girl would be a sad sack, a goon, a rusty hen, off the beam, a spook, flub, scrag, dog biscuit, strictly for the birds, crate, or seaweed. A girl with sex appeal would be drape shape, frame dame, wolfess, Abel Grable, blackout girl, or ready heady. A boy with sex appeal, groovy, twangy boy, or a go-giver. This is, I assume, 1950s jargon. Could be late 40s. It's pretty good. See, if you thought you were going to get in a time machine, go back to the past, and there wouldn't be bullying, and people would all be nice, and they'd have wonderful cars and rock and roll, and the people have always been assholes. Maybe not quite as bad, but I mean, people are people. Don't we know it? Comic book collectors know that people can be mean. Of course, now I guess it's kind of cool to be a comic collector, you know. Thus, shirts like this are sold at Target. Is this cool or what? Go barbecuing with these.
Grotesque forms of cruelty were prevalent in
Oh, man.
Here, the infamous rack was employed to stretch.
Amazing television show with Clark Kent as Superman in person, with Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, the entire cast of the television show. Hey kids, that's great. Bluefield Auditorium, all in person. Tickets on sale. Angrist Men's Shop, Matt's Newsstand, Nelson's in Princeton. It's probably why he killed himself, or something like that, but I'm not trying. Ooh, this would look real good framed. Thrill to hot rod races. This is it, the authentic Beetle wigs. I need to get a Beetle wig. That'd be cool to start my show with one. There's a Batman contest. Ooh, there's another hot rod race one. So I'll put this over here to be sent out to some lucky no prize winner. A burglar bitten by a skeleton. Maybe this is what you should hang outside your front door instead of, you know, protected by ADT security, you know. Maybe that's why we should live in that funeral home in Indiana. And then I could put this outside the door and then people would say, oh shit. One thing my wife's not real thrilled about, well, is that the right next door is like a convenience store called Food Pantry, and it's got, I think it's got gas pumps, and she said, I don't want to live right next door to a gas station, that could explode, and apparently the town has a meth problem. That's not good. But everything keeps drawing us back to Virginia. That's where I originally wanted to move, Virginia or West Virginia. There's a house there that I've loved and she loves, and I actually ought to just call about that. It's a really cool brick house built in the 1850s, and then it's got this giant carriage house that's brick that can, and it looks in great shape. And it's a really wonderful little town that has zero crime. It's literally Mayberry. One policeman. I keep thinking about that town. But then the thing is, Virginia's got this horrible governor. But I just saw this morning, I recorded it off YouTube, this lady speaking that is a Republican that's going to run for governor in Virginia that seems really smart and together. And if the government could change in Virginia, that'd be cool. That would be great. Oh, here's my cat Pete, posed next to my comic book rack. Yeah, I gotta get this framed too, but I'm gonna do it in printed in color. Arcade Macho, pick up or shut up. So he's trying to pick up this girl in the arcade, and he's saying, want to come up and check out my joystick sometimes? He's saying there. I don't know if you can read that or not.
If you value your sanity, do not stray into the evil darkness that surrounds the tombs, crypts, and mausoleums. Here, ghosts wail and moan.
Here's El Santo playing pinball.
To escape their
See, the 50s pinball machines were called wood rails because there's wood along the side instead of metal.
The nightmare of lost souls.
This is a good picture. Oh, I have two of them. So one will go out to some lucky winner. And this would look good next to any lady's makeup area. This is what you could set up in your lobby if you're playing Bride of Frankenstein, an emergency booth. Free service to patrons during run of Bride of Frankenstein. And it has, for those who swallow their own in the excitement, you can get, they have false teeth for you to straighten out the hair that stands on end. For those afraid to go home in the dark, I've seen the picture. They've got some candles for you. For those whose hair turns white, hair dye. They have spirits of ammonia and chew or smoke the scare away. And they got some smokes and some gum. Imagine a nurse. Hey, I've got some cigarettes and some gum for you. Oh, I've got more than one. So if you're a Bride of Frankenstein fan. The haunted house ad for the Aurora Haunted House from Addams Family. So I got more of the Buck Rogers stuff. Monsters Hobby Kit. I've got the model kit built up over there. This would look good behind it. Yeesh. Yeah, and originally the Forgotten Prisoner of Castle Mare was promoted as a famous monsters kit. There's some movie ads that look cool. Well, some of you have been telling me you've been enjoying looking at these things, these pictures. So, as long as it's making some people happy. A lot of this stuff, some of this here, I'm just printing right off of Instagram. Yeah. Yeah, see, there's an Instagram American Spook Show, and I just printed this right off of that. So that's really all I'm doing, is I'm finding pictures on the internet and printing them, and then I've got a big pile of stuff that adds to my other piles of stuff. This requires attention. Looking for some place to go after the big football game? Come to the Apache Drive-In for the Midnight Spook Show. Bring a friend, a birthday present, or free admission for those born on Friday the 13th with proof. Starts at midnight. Teenage Zombies and Planet of the Vampires. If you're not a sissy, you're invited to join the Banshees, werewolves. Oh, this is an ad for a record. The Money.
Come to the sex machine and find your mind. It's an explosion of light, sights, and sounds that'll touch you, change you, and rearrange you. You've got to dig it. Come to the sex machine.
Here's a cool picture of Vampira.
If dancing is your thing, you can jump into the devil's pit and let the music and the synchronized strobe lights take you higher. It's live entertainment. It's beautiful people. It's everything you need to get it together. The Sex Machine. Located on 52nd Street, just north of Market. You've got to get on up to get on down to the Sex Machine. A super hip dimension of entertainment. Check it out. The Sex Machine. Bad.
There's another one of those Walt Disney pictures. I showed you this last time. So I'll put that over here. Did we look at these the other day? Yeah, we saw these last time. Without a doubt, we saw these last time. We looked at that, right? Pretty sure. Well,
Mighty Odin, all-powerful king of the gods.
That is the Norn Queen.
I beg your return.
pardon me. We're gonna go to the other room. Hold up. Okay. The fuck? Back to room 3. Shit. Let's see what we can do here. Okay. Oh crap, what did I do? You still there? Okay, so we're in room 3 now. And I've got a big pile that I need to go through in here. And let's see what we can do with that pile.
Not only rich at 6 o'clock. Then at 6:30 on I Bring It Jeannie, Tony inherits an old mansion in England and plans to live there until he discovers it has ghosts. That's the rich at 6 o'clock. Followed by Jeannie at 6:30, and it's tonight on 11.
Okay, a lot of this stuff is actually trash. Let's see what we can find. This is trash. This is they're selling me some heartworm medicine for my dog Daisy back in 2013. I don't think I need to save that. Yeah, I don't need to save that either. Oh, this is from 2002. This is something like that I would read that would convince me that the PT Cruiser was indeed a cool car. Customizing the coolest car. This is March 30th, 2002. And of course, it turned out to be a money pit. And it was a car that, you know, people kind of laughed at me for owning. So it was not the coolest car in the world. Maybe it was for one brief shining moment. The Chrysler PT Cruiser. Already it was just about the coolest affordable car on the road, but now variations on the PT's basic retro modern styling are letting owners customize their cars to fit in their personalities and styles. Among the latest offerings are new flame accents, such as those that came on this week's test car. Whatever. Yeah, I don't need to save this, do I? Oh well. This is when they tore down the 7th Street Theater in Fort Worth. That was a nice theater, and they just tore it down to make more parking for rich people. Here's a newspaper article on Ronnie Dawson, the rockabilly musician, you know, did Rockin' Bones. Ronnie's last song. Life may not give Dallas rockabilly musician Ronnie Dawson the encore he deserves, but he's not changing his upbeat tune one bit. This is from July 6, 2003. I guess I'll save this. Why not? This middle part it just has wedding pages. I can throw that out because that doesn't further the article. So I'll just save this part. Continued from 1G. Okay, I'll save that part. So I gotta clear this mess out. It says War of the Weirds. With War of the Worlds, HUL spawned an era of space-age oddity. Oh, I guess it's when Spielberg's War of the Worlds came out, and which was June 29th, 2005. I wonder if newspapers even print ads for movies anymore. Yeah, there's War of the Worlds. Yeah, I'm going to toss that. I don't need this. I don't need that. There's a student that drew Pikachu. What about that? Looks like a cat. Sand shrew. I guess these are all Pokemon characters. I'll immortalize the artwork here, and then I don't have to keep it. It's cool when, you know, someone draws something and gives it to you. But I had intended to publish this art in the school magazine, but never did. Oh, someone drew Bone. I think that comic book started here locally. I could be wrong. Naruto. This is the kind of thing, if I put enough of this up on my channel, maybe I'll get people in their 20s to watch my show. Because it has Angry Bird stuff, you know, this. And maybe I could talk a lot about Funko Pops. I've actually got more of those than I'd like to admit. Because they put out some interesting, like, you never would believe they would put them out. But my wife and I call them embryos. We don't call them Funko Pops. Just say, oh, look, it's an embryo of whatever character. Being Albert Einstein. Oh, this feels good throwing all this stuff away. It's this is just stuff I copied out of a Hopalong Cassidy comic that I've got. The reason I was going to cut this part out where it says wholesome approved reading, wholesome entertainment approved reading, and I was going to use it on my school magazine, but I did that already. I don't need those extra copies. This is just something I copied out of Stranko's magazine. This is some eBay thing from October 21st, 1999. Vampira, original 1950s TV stationery. The single sheet measures 7 by 10 and showcases Vampira herself. Yeah, but there's no picture. It must be on another page. I don't need that sheet telling about it. This is a copy I made of a wrestling newsletter I have. But I have the original, so I don't need that. This is a Hopalong Cassidy ad that I copied out of a comic book. I guess I'll save that one. What is this thing here? This is, I think I copied, printed off the internet, the script to Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I don't know where the rest of the pages are, and this is all crumpled up, so this will go in the trash. That's a sketch that Joe Riley did of, I don't know what character that is, Zone Fighter or something. Don't get me lying. He was the expert on Japanese superheroes. Here's a drawing this student did of John Carter. See John Carter fighting the Tharks. Isn't that cool? Speaking Martian. And there's the princess. So, because we read A Princess of Mars. See, you can't say I didn't influence the minds of 6th and 7th graders at one point. And here's something the girl drew of. This is her original drawing of Sailor Moon. I like that. That's going in the save pile. Save pile's here, the trash pile's over there. Here's a review someone did of Princess of Mars back in October 16th, 2000. Man, my handwriting wasn't that good when I was in 6th grade. Here's little baby Martian hatching out of the egg, which is why people still today, when they think of Martians, they think of little green men, because the first Martians that John Carter saw in that book were little green men hatching out of the eggs. And they had antennae and all. That's why, you know, we still, in our popular consciousness, we don't remember why we think Martians are green. When it's a red planet, why aren't they red? We think Martians are green because of Edgar Rice Burroughs' A Princess of Mars, which is a series of books pretty much forgotten by people, and Disney tried to do a movie, and it was a pretty good movie, but it did not take off because so many people have imitated those books over the years in TV shows and comic books and movies, that now it seems like a rip-off of them, when in reality it was, you know, it even inspired Flash Gordon. Yeah. What is it? Oh, this, he must be fighting one of those giant Martian apes here. How about that? I'm saving this John Carter stuff. Oh, here's someone imagining a movie of it long before the Disney movie was made. And he's got starring Ricky Martin, The Rock, and Britney Spears. He's imagining those would be the stars. No, actually. Yeah, this one, they're imagining, yeah, The Rock from WWF and Britney Spears as Deja Thoris. See, there's Woola, the dog. So I guess the assignment was to imagine a movie poster. If someone made a movie of this book, what would the poster look like? That's kind of the way. When DC had the rights to the Burroughs books, they imagined two torsos, the way they drew them, and which is an odd way of thinking about the four-armed Martians. But it's kind of cool and creepy. Okay, that's enough of that. What else can we possibly actually throw away here? Here's clip art. I'll save that. Never know when this will be useful. I think I was printing this old stuff because I was trying to print stuff that might be from the time period that my grandfather played professional baseball. Okay. I guess we must have read The Mastermind of Mars. On December 9th, 1999, she says, This is my review of The Mastermind of Mars. My favorite character was Gyar Hajas because he would not kill anybody unless he was told to. This book was first printed in 1927. The book had things that were cool. One of them was when people would at night put the house on a pole. That way no one could get in. People did things that they needed to do bad. I think the part that people would read is the part where there's a man that has the brain of a woman. And those are most of the things I like. Okay, that was a 6th grader writing that, so let's see, before you judge them. This is when I ordered some parts for my Royal Flush pinball machine, so I'll save that. Like pictures I printed of Meg White of the White Stripes back when the White Stripes were still a band. Now, what do we have here? I guess I saved this ad just because of this girl dressed as Catwoman. Is that insane or what? I don't know. I don't know that I want to throw that away. There's something really wrong with me, I think. That's trash. These are my dad's... This is my dad's report card from June 15th, 1947. I need to keep it in better condition. The following is the list of the subjects and grades. It's from the West Philadelphia Catholic High School for Boys. 46, 47, English 4, you got a 92, trigonometry a 92, solid geometry 94, physics a 93, problems of democracy 93. Mr. Weinert ranked in the first quintile, number 3 in a class of 276. Let's see, in 1945-46, his lowest grade was a 91. 44 to 45. Man, he got an 84 in Spanish. And in 43, 44, his lowest grade was 81 in algebra. Then he went off to college, and then the day after he graduated college, he was drafted into the Korean War. So he missed out on World War II being in high school, but he did not miss the Korean War. All right, now this, wish this hadn't gotten folded. Is original art from a student. This is her last art sketch of her 7th grade year. This girl was a brilliant artist, and I mean, really, and she didn't copy this stuff. I would watch her draw it freehand, and she came back later on and visited and thanked me for helping her get her art published in our school magazine and everything. So I'm hoping that she makes something of herself, because I thought her artwork is as good as stuff I see published in comic stores. There's that, another one of those drawings I showed you that. Let's see. Oh, I was looking up this game I had as a kid, or still have, called Cuckoo Choo Choo. I need to get a better copy of that game. These students came back, a lot of them, the class of 1968, 69 of the junior high school, and they were the last to come through the school as junior high school students, and then they changed it to a middle school, and they no longer had 9th graders. So a lot of them came back a few years ago, and I gave them a tour of the school. And then we recreated that picture and had them pose in the same places and everything on the stand. This is a place that sells back glasses for pinball machines, but that's old and outdated. Oh, this is cool. The Mustanger. I'll save that as well. Oh, I have another copy of that. Where I must have kept another copy of that. What is one? Oh, when we listened to the Orson Welles' War of the Worlds radio show, this is probably from about 96, 97. These are some of the drawings that the 6th graders drew based on what they were hearing. No, it's just a page from the school magazine that I had an extra one of. Here's a questionnaire they sent me from my high school for the class of 83. I guess it was the 2003. I guess this would have been my 20th anniversary, so they're sending me this thing to ask what's become of me. What have you been up to lately? Include interests, hobbies, travels, etc. Tell your most memorable extracurricular activity in high school. Do you have information? Yeah, they have a missing list. They were gonna have a big party. I didn't even respond. I didn't go. I didn't like most of those people. I had a miserable time. So I wish I'd had a good time. I wish I could have good memories about high school. Here's a Planet of the Apes ad I copied out of probably a Marvel black and white magazine. And I copied that because I was going to use it in one of the little school magazines I did. Just like this was out of one of the DC John Carter comic books, like Weird Worlds of Edgar Rice Burroughs, whatever they called it. So I was always making little copies of things so I could clip things, but there's no need for them now. This is probably, well, maybe from an issue of Foom. I copied this with the little black and white depictions of stuff out. Little depiction of Wonder Woman that I was going to use somewhere in the margins or something. But I don't really have a need for giant stacks and mounds of this paper now, so just toss it. This is from the Monster Times. This is from a catalog of VHS stuff you could get. Oh, here's a copy of Toy Shop. Remember this? July 22nd, 1994. This is how, before eBay, this is how you got old toys and stuff. They sold this on the newsstand. It's a store at the Forum Mall. I'd always buy this at. G.I. Joe auction. This is eBay before there was eBay. There's a Rat Fink slot car. I guess I'll save that one. My 2005 income tax. I guess I don't want to throw that away. Man, some of this stuff's gotten really messed up. Original art of a Thark. Maybe I can flatten that out. Arlington Memorial Hospital. Patient liability less than expected. They gave me money back. $10 from a hospital visit. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, they're coming out with this is from Ain't It Cool News? Or is it, no, it's from Film Threat. They're coming out with a Scooby-Doo movie, and I guess I thought, well, that might be cool. Of course it wasn't. This is when they first printed pictures of what they were going to look like. This must be when I was ordering some pinball machines. What they were going to charge me to ship them. Oh, okay, and what they cost and what it cost to ship them. This cool pulp illustration. After Worlds Collide. Here's some pages that were going to be I did a magazine called The Sophisticate, and I did another one called Sling Rave Curvette. And then these are pages that were going to be in that, but I never finished. This is from an unfinished issue, in other words. So it's going to have an ad for Cannibal Girls, and see, this is yeah. And this was Joe Riley touched this up. He made it look better for printing, and that was some art that a friend of mine did. So yeah, that's from the early '90s, unfinished magazine production. Okay, reviews of Singing in the Rain. What a great movie that is. I need to get a trash bag up here. An old TXU bill, $146.40 from May 8th, 2009. Don't need that. Bunch of reviews from Ain't It Cool News of The Two Towers when that came out in 2002. Don't think I need those. Oh, this came with some little Marvel comic when they were going to start in the mid '90s, late '90s. They did an Iron Man cartoon, and this was a little cell they included with some preview comic. And then they did a fantastic. That Iron Man cartoon was terrible. Then they did a Fantastic Four one that was also pretty terrible, but the second season it really got pretty damn great. There was also a Legion of Superheroes cartoon. I forgot about that. That wasn't too bad. There's kids playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards, 20 years ago in the school magazine. That shit's been around forever. An envelope. Is there anything in it? No money. So that can be going in the trash. This must be a coverless. What was this thing? The toy magazine that was the spinoff of Wizard Toy Fair. It's a coverless toy fair. Why did I save this from 2002? Let's find out. There's got to be some reason I saved this. It's got obituaries, no one. 2002. Portrait of an artist, no. Maybe the. I have no idea. It goes in the trash. The arts. I probably saved it because it's Singing in the Rain. No, don't need it. Well, it was playing in the theater. My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Y tu mama tambien. Blade 2. Blade 2 was good. I thought that was a lot better than the first Blade movie. April 14th, 2002. See, Monster Times even did a story on Operator 5, which was a really cool pulp that followed the stories of World War III with this James Bond kind of secret agent. How to Meet Boys. I copied that out of one of my teen magazines. How to Form a Car Club. Oh, look at the little plates. Who's cool? This looks like it's from a National Enquirer. Oh, I must have saved it for this. How 50 singing sensations sank from stardom to tragedy. I don't want. That's too depressing. Why am I saving that? I don't know why I'm saving that. Oh, this is an original page from the Sophisticate. And it's all bent up. Now, this is... I need to get all these pages together again so I could possibly reprint it. This is an original page. Look how it's been treated. See, everything was cut and pasted on here. That was a magazine I used to do. Oh, here they read the story of the monkey's paw. He's saying, I wish my son alive again. He's holding the monkey's paw there. It says, he raised his hand, I wish my son alive again. Here's Frank Frazetta drawing the same thing those kids were drawing earlier. I may ring off here in a second. I don't think this is that fascinating for you to watch. But if it is, let me know. Some people, you know, when I'm organizing the comics, they say they organize their comics along while I'm doing it. It kind of gives them someone to keep company with, and if you have to go through a bunch of stuff like I'm doing, maybe this is apparently what my eBay name used to be, and it has a list of things that I was like bidding on or wanting to bid on. No, I guess I bought all these things. Leave feedback. So this is good because it shows what I paid for a bunch of stuff. Yeah, this is real good. This from October 2006. Yeah, that's when I had a little bit of money and I had gone mad. This is an actual original page too from the Sophisticate, so that needs to be put there. Yeah, the type of stuff I would draw when I'm in meetings. And Sinister Cinema would send these things pretty often in the mail, trying to get you to order some of their movies. R&B singer Houston gouges his eye out after failed suicide attempt. February 3rd, 2005. R&B singer Houston, whose full name is Houston Summers IV, reportedly gouged out one of his eyes after a failed suicide attempt at a London hotel. Oh boy. This is from this horrible website that used to be around called ogreish.com that had all this horrible photographs and horrible news. Terrible. Oh. That's my mother on horseback there. That's not the original photograph, that's a copy I made. Look at this lipstick called Tiki God. I need to show that to my wife. I think I'm going to get a trash bag so I can start piling this stuff in there. There's important fan clubs. I'm pretty sure that one of these Babyface songs, always, whenever I play it, it catches me. I get a little letter from YouTube saying, that song is copyright, and you don't have to do anything, and it won't hurt your account, or you can still keep the video up, but just let you know that people in Syria, North Korea, Iran, and what's the other place? Cuba will not be able to watch this episode because of that copywritten song. I'm pretty sure that will happen. Oh well. I will be back soon with another exciting installment of the Grottu Orloff Show. Anyway, hopefully if this is your first installment watching Grottu Orloff, I will try to make the shows more exciting in the future. But for now, be seeing you.